Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I'm going to do an update and then an April TBR. So I even wrote things down so I could be nice and succinct. So let's see. First of all, I have 419 subscribers. That's just amazing. And so I just thank everybody who's subscribed. And to me, it's just flabbergasting. But anyway, thank you. It's fun to talk books with you. I want to talk also, another thing I want to remember is about this read along that we're doing for Lent, The Cloud of Unknowing. And I'm a co-host and Christy Lewis is a co-host. And I'm trying to remember everybody's a co-host. Victoria, the musical bookworm, I believe, and the Bookish Princess. And I know I need to go through past videos because some of you responded and said you wanted to be in the discussion, which is taking place the weekend after Easter. And you have to give your email address to Emma at the Bookish Princess because she's in charge of setting it up. So you can just remind me, or I'll go back and look too, but you can remind me if you see this. Or you could just go over to her and tell her maybe. But that way she can get the links out to everybody and we can all have a good discussion about The Cloud of Unknowing. So I am currently reading this. I kind of fell by the wayside for a few days, so I think I'm behind. I'm up to chapter 26. I'm glad I have this edition because Christy Lewis keeps posting quotes from the older edition, which is more of the older English or Middle English. And I think it makes it that much harder to understand because this is very lofty stuff. This is mystical and it doesn't make for quick reading, although it's broken down in very short chapters. And he's very methodical. The author is, he's anonymous, but he's a monk talking to other monks. And he's very methodical about how he explains everything, about how he thinks you can reach the highest form of prayer, which is the contemplative prayer. And you do this by sort of bumping up against and accepting the cloud of unknowing, the fact that God is mystery and you can never know him, but you can love him. And so it's all about that purifying love, that rest, that exists within two clouds. One cloud on one side is the cloud of forgetting, because that's becoming detached from yourself, your own ego, from the things of the world. And then there's the cloud of unknowing, which is the mystery of God. And the thing that allows you to be in that place is loving God. Like just giving yourself over totally to loving God. So it's very thought-provoking, and I underline lots of things. Sometimes I quarrel a little bit with him because, although he might clarify, because he is talking to people, the whole monastery system is set up so that people can live like this. But not everybody is called to be a monk and is even called to contemplative life, I don't think. We have to have active people that are in the world, that are having babies. It's hard to be contemplative when you have babies. They have to go out and earn a living in ways that don't allow for the contemplative life very easily. And so sometimes I almost feel like it's a little bit elitist. Like, yeah, you can say that because your whole life, revolves around this. But mine doesn't. So, but there's still a lot of wisdom and value in it. So I don't mean to, that's me. That's my little inner critic as I read it. But a lot of it is really profound. It is mystical. And I think it's going to be worth reading. And the two funny things I've come across while I've been reading this. One, I read the book Black Narcissus. I think I mentioned this before, which was the story of these nuns who was trying to open this or start a convent, a hospital and a school in the Himalayas. And they kind of forget the contemplative life because they're so involved with their work. And then there's a Hindu figure there that's just completely lost to he's almost like comatose. He doesn't respond. He doesn't speak to other people. He just stares at the mountain. and he's sort of seen as this, all the native people around there really admire him and take care of him. And so there's that juxtaposition, you know the word, I mean, between the active life and the contemplative life. And then to me, the nuns had a harder job because they had to walk a fine line. They had to be both contemplative and active, which I think is really hard. The other thing is that in here, he uses the story of Mary and Martha, Lazarus's sisters, who Martha complains about Mary because Mary's just sitting at Jesus's feet listening to him talk, and Martha's in the kitchen like getting things ready. And so Martha has become the model for the active life, and Mary is the model for the contemplative life. And he mentions that in here, and then somewhere else in my reading, maybe it was the Gospel of John, or it might have even been mentioned also in the Catechism. But anyway, I also ran across that idea that Mary is the contemplative model and Martha is the active model. So just other things in life have been sort of coalescing with this, or intersecting with it in unexpected ways. So yeah, so I probably need to get going a little bit more with this since I fell behind. But yes, I'm enjoying this. It's worthwhile. Let's see. So what else? So that's, and I reminded people about the email if you want to discuss it at the end after Easter. Okay. So other things that I'm reading. Well, I am doing the Catechism of the Catholic Church in a year. I've been pretty good. I'm a day behind. I'm hoping today I will catch up. I already listened to one this morning, but I'm going to try to read and listen to the podcast. So what you do is you read a few paragraphs usually. I mean, probably up to 10. Could be anywhere from 4 to 10 or something of the catechism. And then you listen to the podcast. Well, that's how I've been doing. So right now we're in Article 4, and we're going through the Creed. Jesus Christ suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. So it's explaining all that. This is the Ascension Press edition, and so it's nice in that they tell you all the sources, the resources are listed. So it's kind of nicely laid out. I mean, the non-Ascension Press Catechism isn't bad either. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. They've got it color-coded. So we're going through the Creed. Then you do like the sacraments, community, prayer. Yeah. So then they have a lot of like a glossary and index of terms and stuff like that. So anyway, so I am enjoying that. I see I was sick last week, and so I just slowed down and everything. But I'm going to catch up. Hopefully today I will catch up with that. So those are 2 things I'm reading. And then what else am I reading? Right now, hopefully I'll finish it up today, is I'm reading a little novella by Jules Verne. Let me see if I can pull up the cover, called The Fantasy of Dr. Ox. And that's for Sean D. Standfast's, oh wait, I hit the wrong thing. Hold on. I always hit the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, I am 69% through, or does it say 68? Come on. Anyway, it's for his book club, and I just left a message on the Voxer. I'm really enjoying it. It's light, it's comical, it's just, skewering everybody. It's both the conservatives and the progressives. He's having fun with both. And so that's what I'm reading. And gosh, I never would have picked this up on my own. Never. So I'm very grateful. I really like Sean's book club because that's what it does. It takes me out of my comfort zone, and I have not been disappointed yet. So it's a fun book club. You should join. So let's see. Oh yeah, and his birthday is April 1st. So go over to Sean's channel, and I'll link, and you can wish him happy birthday. On his birthday. Let's see. So I'm reading that, and then I'm also reading Ben-Hur. I was listening to this on audio, but I just kept forgetting to listen to it, or I kept getting interrupted. So the other day I had to go to the library for another reason, and I thought I'm just going to see if they have the book, and they do. And so I've been reading it, physically, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying it more reading it physically than I was listening to it, even though the audio was good. I thought the reader was very good. But still, I don't know why. I'm just in the mood to read physically and not listen. So it's really interesting. It's, my only frame of reference is Charlton Heston's movie that I've watched almost every single year since childhood. And it's a little bit different. So I'm enjoying finding the differences, and I kind of like the differences in the book. And it's really, it's kind of an emotional book. It's emotionally absorbing. And I really feel like I'm in that time period. It's very evocative. And I think the guy who wrote it, who I thought he was British, but he was American, really had studied ancient times. You really feel like you're in there. So I'm enjoying it now. I've been really slow because I wasn't listening to it consistently, and so I don't know if I'll be done by the time Easter rolls around. I had wanted to, for Holy Week, between Palm Sunday and Easter, I was going to try to finish up the last 5 plays of Dorothy L. Sayers' The Man Born to be King plays. She had those 12 plays, and there was a group of people that were reading them for Advent, but I didn't finish them. I only read through 7, and I was going to save the final 5 for Holy Week. But now that I'm reading this, I don't think I can swing it. I think it's too much. So I might have to wait till next year, or maybe I'll just read them because I want to. But maybe I'll wait till next Holy Week. Will I remember that in a year? I don't know. Anyway, I do want to finish them though, because I only read up to 7 and there's 12 total. So I feel like it's incomplete, but I don't want to DNF it. I was enjoying them. I just didn't get it read. So anyway, so Ben-Hur is another current read. So Jules Verne, I'm going to finish Jules Verne. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it today. And then I want to continue with middle grade March. And I want to read Linda Jo Martin, and she's a booktuber. She wrote this book, River Girl, and she said not for review when she sent it to me. So I won't review it, Linda, if you don't want me to. And I've read a few pages here and there, but I'm going to sit down and read it cover to cover. So I'm hoping this evening I'll start it, and maybe I'll be done, finish it up tomorrow. It's middle grade, and it's not a long book. So I'm excited though, because then, she's a booktube friend, so that's pretty cool. So that's what I'm planning to do very soon. And then I want to finish up March by reading The Dark is Rising, which is the second book in the Dark is Rising sequence. This one won the Newbery Honor. Newbery Honor. Is that like the sort of it's not the actual Newbery, but it's like a separate thing, is it? I can't remember now. But anyway, so this is the second book in the series. At the very end of February, beginning of March, I read Under Stone Over Sea, which I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to this. It's all modern kids in Arthurian times, or it's tied with Arthurian times. Do they time travel, or is this completely different? Yeah, I don't even see the same characters listed in it. All right, so I'll find out about that. But anyway, that's what I want to finish up March with. Okay, for April, I'll probably still be reading Ben-Hur. I doubt I'll finish it. Easter is until April 9th, so that week I'll probably still be finishing up Ben-Hur. Oh, wait, I forgot to say something else. I just finished a study of the Gospel of John, and it was a really deep dive into the Gospel of John. And even though I'd read that before, and I'm very familiar with it, this was illuminating. And the theologian is Edward Shree. This is also from Ascension Press, the same people that did the Catechism. And I really liked it a lot. What you do is you do the reading, and it had gorgeous art in it too. you do the reading from the gospel, and then there's a video where Professor Shree teaches you about it, and then there's a workbook to go through, and then there's a community discussion or a small group discussion. And that was the part that I didn't really get on with, because it's on Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights at 6, I have a sisters call. My sisters, we do a Zoom call and to check up on my youngest sister who's Down syndrome. And so that happens at 6. So you either have to make dinner before and people just come and get it, or you're making dinner and then you eat after that call. That's what we do anyway. And then, you want to clean up some, and that's also my trash and recycling night. And then and I usually shower after dinner, but 7:30 is when the discussion starts. So it was just, I didn't even make it last night because my husband came home and he was going to take the dog for a walk. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go on a walk with my husband instead of going to a discussion. And then I could go take a shower, and then I could just go get ready for bed. So I didn't find even though there are people from my church and it's really nice to see familiar faces and everything, I'm not good at night. I just want to curl up with a book and sleep. I'm a morning person. And so I'm okay with one-off Zoom things, but like weekly, every Wednesday night from 7:30 to 9, I don't know. I just can't swing it. So, but I did really, really love this study. And so I really appreciated reading the Gospel of John. So that was a really good thing too. All right, and then I was going to say for April. Okay, so I have big plans for April. So first of all, I'm going to do my hornblower. The next one is Hornblower in the Atropos, or Atropos. I always pretend that's French. I don't know if it is or not, but maybe it's Greek. But I'm going to read that at the end of the month because everybody in the group has started doing that. They don't read it the first week. And it's a Voxer group, so you can't really discuss the book until everyone's read it because you don't want to spoil anything. If everybody's reading it at the end of the month, then, So I'm going to do that now, too. So I'm going to wait to the end of April to read this one. But I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm still going to be reading Ben-Hur. And I'm going to read whatever the Faded Pages Book Club book is. I think it's going to be about a bookshop. All the possibilities for April were set in bookshops. So it's going to be one of 2 books, I think, that we came down to. But anyway, I'll talk about that later when I know for sure. So I'll have that. So finish up Ben-Hur, Hornblower at the end of the month. Sometime in the middle of the month, I'll be doing that, whatever that book is for the Faded Pages Book Club. But I have 2 big projects that I want to do in April, which is kind of crazy. April is busy, and it's also gardening. So we'll see if I can actually do this. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 96% sure that I'm doing a buddy read with Jennifer Brooks of Ovid's Metamorphoses. Yeah, I tend to say that wrong. But I bought this last April and I started. And I think I told her I'd gotten through almost book 2, but I hadn't. It was book 1. I sat down and read one day and then that was it. I didn't go any further. So yeah, that's how far I got. But I also put a paperclip there just to show that's all I have to read, right? Anyway, this is a famous classical poem. And it's got 15 books in it. It's broken into 15 books. And so and April has 30 days. So I'm going to plan to read a book every 2 days. So I'll do half of a book one day and half the next. That would be the ideal schedule. And I hope to, read this, something I've been wanting to read for a while. And it's all about mythology. It's his retelling of the Roman mythology. And I am familiar, of course, with Roman mythology. But I tend to get them all mixed up. I'm not good at remembering the details. So I always like to review it. Every once in a while, I want to sit down and review these because I get them all jumbled up. And this really came home to me when I was leading a Kurtamen team a couple of years for this homeschool co-op where I taught Latin. And they would often ask questions of mythology, and I never could remember who was who or what the stories were. So anyway, so this will be a nice refresher course. Also, I think that this particular translation seems really glorious, really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to it. And it will be a really, something to really check off the bucket list. Because ever since I heard about it, I was strangely ignorant about it until early in my homeschooling days. Another mom who was very classically oriented suggested reading this as adults, just as, to be, as something for the parents to do while the kids were learning. And I was like, what is it? I'd never even heard of it. So that's crazy. So anyway, so this is a big project, and this is going to be a main thrust in April. And then the other thing I'm doing, this is my pagan, right? And the other thing I'm going to do is for the 50 days of the Easter season. So I'm going to start Easter Monday, and it's 50 days till Pentecost. I and the group of people who I read City of God with, we were going to read Pope Benedict's Introduction to Christianity. So he wrote this back when he was still Cardinal Ratzinger. And in fact, I think it first came out, let me see here. He's got a long preface that he wrote in 2000 to the book, and then 1968. So the 68 edition, did it come out even before that? Oh, okay, and then 69 edition. It's a weird order. But anyway, so he wrote this back, on the wings of Vatican II. And it's supposed to be really good. I'm excited about reading this. So in order to get it read in 50 days, we have to read 6.5 pages a day. So I'm ready for it. Because I keep flipping it open and I'll just read something that's so interesting. Yeah, I think it's a slower read because it's theology and he's writing in a he writes very readably, but it's the subject matter itself and his erudition make it, a harder read, just a slower read. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. And if anybody wants to join us with this, please do. Just let me know and I can add you to the Voxer group. So yeah, Introduction to Christianity. So this isn't going to start till after Easter. This is going to start, I'm starting this on April 1. So yeah, so let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I've talked long enough. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So first of all, I just wanted to say I was all excited about this book, The Egoist. And I read to page, 30? I didn't even get through. I read the prelude. Yeah, I read the prelude. I couldn't understand what the guy was saying. It was so densely written, and he's so arch, and I thought this is really clever, and I think it's funny, but I have no idea what's going on. So I just sort of put it down and didn't pick it back up again. So I don't know what the fate of this is going to be. I may one day read it, but it's going on the back burner for now. And the other thing that I want to do in April, and this may be impossible, but I had been thinking about it before anyway, because last year I started out the year, not in 2022, I started out kind of reigniting my Latin studies. So I had stopped right before COVID shut everything down. I had taken the 3rd level National Latin exam, and I passed it and did well. But then COVID, everything shut down and everything, and I just stopped. So then I started up again last winter, 2022, and I was going gangbusters January and February, and then in March I started to fade, And by the time I got to April, I was really fading. But this was because I wanted to read Ovid, and I have this textbook, Latin, via Ovid. And what you do is he tells, you learn about the different myths, and then you read it in Latin. So he has redacted it and simplified it and that sort of thing to make it go with whatever the grammar he's teaching in the lesson. But, by the time you get to the end of it, you're really reading Ovid. So that was my goal. And so I think I'm going to pick this back up, and I need to review a lot, I know, because my brain is old and I don't retain things, and I have to do intensive review for a few weeks before I get back on board and I can really start expanding my learning, deepening it, and getting further. So I'm going to do that, but also I've been watching a new to me channel, Revenant Reads. He's the one that started the Historathon. And he is studying Latin, and he initially used this, and I have had this forever. I took a Latin class years and years ago where we only read like the first 3 chapters. You can see I wrote notes and stuff. And then the teacher, she herself was more, and I'm like this too, I like a good grammar book. I want to know the nuts and bolts. I can't just hear stuff, because to me it just seems like gibberish. So I think I need both. I'm going to do the grammar approach, but I'm also going to do the reading method, the kind of immersion, though you can't really immerse. But this approach, you read it and it sort of becomes intuitive what's going on grammatically, and then they give you little hints in the margin to help you along. And then I also have a workbook. So I think I'm going to do these together, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fit it in. I've got to figure out I'm going to schedule it. And I'm just going to try for April and see how I do, and then I'll reassess. Is it crazy to think that I can teach myself Latin at this stage of the game? I don't know. But we'll find out, and I want to try. Okay, 27 minutes. I'm sorry this was so long, but it was a lot. It was the TBR and also an update and everything. So, all right, I hope you are doing well, and I will talk to you later. Bye.